Welcome to the Lempert Report Live. Today, we're going to talk about the impact of the pandemic on kids' consumption of fast food, how coupon fraud is on the rise and being glamorized. We'll also visit a food TikTok sensation. Ransomware once again hits the food world, and just in time, our farm and food works get a bonus. We bring you our unique insights on grocery retail, sustainability, e-commerce, new product reviews, and consumer trends. We also want to know what's on your mind. So I hope you'll add your comments right in the chat box, and we'll share your comments during the program. Sally, what's on the radar?
Well, Phil, it looks like the pandemic has really taken a toll on some families' eating habits. Looking at a national poll from the University of Michigan, we're finding that more kids are eating more fast food, and this is 20% of families saying that they've increased their fast food consumption, and it's affecting mostly low-income families and children that are already experiencing weight issues.
So what happened to the whole idea that everybody's eating at home during the pandemic? I mean, if we're seeing this increase in fast food consumption, and also what the report is saying is 88% of parents let their kids choose what they want, and very few parents actually read the nutritional information. So it looks like we're reversing the trend that started during the pandemic.
Yes, well, the report does say that half of families report cooking at home, but just because of time and convenience and complications with the pandemic, I guess they're finding that it's a lot easier to just order fast food. And those sodas and French fries can be a real problem because they're so highly processed and addictive.
Talking about addictive, there's a couple in Norfolk, West Virginia, that seem to have a very strange addiction.
Yes, a woman in Virginia Beach has now been sentenced to 12 years in prison for coupon fraud. This was a complex system that she created through Facebook and Telegram, and basically counterfeited and sold coupons, resulting in a loss of nearly $32 million to retailers and manufacturers.
And when I don't know whether it was the FBI or whoever went to their house, they found on their computer, it's a husband and wife, 13,000 separate and distinct counterfeit coupon designs. And even before the coupon fraud, these folks were also taking money from Medicaid and the SNAP program illegally by lying on what their income is. So these people are both in jail, and they're going to be there for a while. But, we're also seeing a little bit of glamour as it relates to coupon fraud. There's a new movie that's coming out with Kristen Bell. It's called Queen Pins, and it's about two women, who, are lacking for money, and they decide to get into the coupon fraud business in a very big way. I don't know if it's as a result of somebody reading this story or, just coincidence. And we have a little bit of a clip to show you from their trailer. So let's play that clip.
All right, boys, lock and load. So what are we dealing with here? Gun runners? Drug dealers?
It's two women who are counterfeiting coupons.
This feels like a lot. You don't think we're coming in a little hot here, boss?
So, Sally, I guess my question is, by hearing this story about $31 million that this couple made, seeing this movie being glamorized, and I'm not going to give away the whole movie. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I have seen the whole trailer, that, they do get caught. Do you think we're going to see more coupon fraud?
Well, I certainly hope not, but it could be that, a movie like this comes out and it inspires some people.
Yeah, for a quick buck. Let's talk about grilled cheese.
Well, talking about grilled cheese and pizza, there's a young man named Brandon Max who is making a huge impact on TikTok. He has gained an average of 3 million viewers a week. And his story goes like this. He suffered while he was in high school from a complicated pediatric immune disorder, so he couldn't be around other students. So he took to TikTok, and he liked to talk about food and to be silly. And he started putting videos up about food, and it was kind of getting some followers. But then he involved his dad. His dad went on with him, and they sang a song about grilled cheese. And the next thing you know, he had 3 million views.
Unbelievable. And then they went on to do something with pizza, and then he went on to do something with his grandmother.
Yes, he did, and that one gained him 13.5 million views, and now that he's this big influencer, he's even got a brand of ice cream that's coming out. Clavin's Ice Cream Parlor is doing the Brandon Max Sundae, which is 2 brownies, 4 scoops of chocolate ice cream, Oreo toppings, M&Ms, and hot fudge, which sounds like a TikTok food.
Sounds like a TikTok food. Absolutely. Getting into a more serious situation, we saw a few months ago that we have these companies now holding food companies for ransom, because they get into their computers and they shut down their systems. We saw it with JBS, the world's largest meat packer, and there's a new story about ransomware that could well affect our ability to provide feed for animals, number one, and number two, might create shortages, and number three, might increase prices. Tell us about that.
Yes, there is a farming provider called New Cooperative that has been hacked by what's called the Black Matter Group, and they are holding a ransom of $5.9 million, and it is interrupting their supply chain. There has been communication between them that has been shared on social media in Twitter. And the company is stuck.
It bothers me because not only is it affecting our food world, but the world is wacko when I look at this. And also what Black Matter says on their website is that they will not attack hospitals, oil and gas companies, nonprofit and government organizations, and those in the defense sector. They're saying this. I mean, how brazen can you be when you're holding people for ransom? And what we really need to do is create a much better infrastructure for food companies so that this can't happen. This is absolutely absurd. But give me some good news.
Well, here's some good news. We know that farm and food workers have been affected by COVID in a much more serious way than other industries. And so now the government is going to give $600 to eligible farm workers and people in the meatpacking industry to sort of make up for the losses that they've experienced. We saw the huge breakout in Tyson Foods factory, and I think we're hearing that at least 132 meatpacking workers have died of COVID, and 22,000 workers were infected or exposed to the virus.
And the good news is, as part of this program, USDA also announced a $20 million program to reimburse frontline grocery store workers. And the reason for this $600 and this $20 million program is in many cases, these employees have had to buy their own PPE, and they haven't been reimbursed. So this money is going to help them with that. So that's some great news. Sally, what's the latest pandemic pivot?
Well, Chet Dixon is this wonderful guy in Los Angeles, California, that is a musician. He's a comedian. He's an actor. He's been in some great films. He was in Cold Mountain, one that you might have seen. He's been in scenes with Meryl Streep. Such a great, talented guy. But as you know, the entertainment industry can be very up and down usually, but even during in a pandemic, it's much worse. So he was working in an Amazon warehouse trying to make ends meet. And being from Louisiana, from Gonzales, Louisiana, the jambalaya capital of the world, he just decided, I'm going to start making jambalaya for people. And he got really creative with these pop-ups where he would take orders on Tuesdays and then on the weekends deliver this food to people all over LA. His pop-ups have become very popular, and it's just really wonderful to see people moving into the food business as a way to make ends meet during this pandemic. And he's a great example.
Yeah, it's a wonderful story, and also what I love about these pandemic pivots that you're writing about is that we're getting new people, as you said, in the food world that have not been in the food world before. So they bring a whole different lens to how to market food, how to prepare food. So I think it's a great enriching experience for all of us in the food industry. And hopefully we have retailers who are watching that are going to reach out to some of these people and put their product on their shelves as well.
Yes, I hope so. I hope so. They bring these people moving into the music or into from the entertainment industry in particular. They're very creative people, and so they are bringing something new and fresh to the food industry.
So talking about putting products on shelves, guess what time it is? You probably know Dr. Bronner's as one of the best brands of organic soaps and personal care products. It's my personal favorite. You probably don't know them as now introducing one of the best lines of chocolate bars I've ever tasted. The brand is Magic All One, and one bite, and you'll agree. So far, I've tasted 3 varieties. My favorite one is the smooth coconut praline. It's a huge hit with a score of 96. Made with 70% cacao and sweetened with coconut sugar, this is a smooth, rich, dark chocolate. It's organic, vegan, and fair trade certified. One bar contains 3 servings. And as they say, when the chocolate is great, just a small piece is very satisfying. Also, as you can see, it's a very thick bar. So 1/3 is quite a big serving. A third of the bar is just 160 calories, 11 grams of fat, just 10 milligrams of sodium, yay, with 2 grams of fiber, 9 grams of sugars, of which 8 are added sugars. It's made from coconut milk, so no dairy. It is expensive, but it's worth it at $5.49 a bar. Inside the wrapper is their story about regenerative farming and their effort to create a regenerative organic certified chocolate bar. It's great. What you want to do is you want to get all flavors and enjoy. It's time for some indulgence. And last week, I spoke with Matt Schwartz, who I interviewed of Afresh, who wants to change just how supermarket retailers are managing their fresh foods and increase their profits. So when we look at produce in particular, it has one of the highest waste factors. You have managers, as you've said, to this day that are using pencil and paper and keeping their fingers crossed that they have some idea what to order for the consumer or what they're going to get. And just about every supermarket that I walk into have these huge bins of apples, and they have the bins of apples there because it gives them, a lot of flexibility. Most apples are in cold storage for a year and a half. So it gives them the flexibility. It's colorful. Now that you see apples in yellow and green and red and all different shades of red. So, I think starting out in produce was very smart because it's one of the biggest needs that the store has.
Yeah, I really appreciate that perspective. And it's interesting. I think one of the fascinating things for us was in starting the company, why was it on pen and paper? Like, it is the highest shrink area. Why would that be the case? And I think we came to find very quickly, we were told by a lot of people in the grocery industry well, you all are crazy. Why are you trying to do? Yes, it's a huge opportunity, but it's also massively complicated in this big problem, because you got apples that are sold by weight, or sometimes they're sold by eaches, or they're shipped by the case, or sometimes they're shipped by the pound. You have different seasonality and varietals that become available depending on the produce product. You've got shrink, so it's really tough to understand what your actual inventory is. You have miscans at the register where somebody might be marking that gala apple as a pink lady or as organic when it's conventional. And so all of those things deprecate the accuracy of existing systems that were built for non-perishable goods to work in fresh. And so the challenge and the opportunity was to go for fresh first and go for produce first, and to build a system that was tailor-made for the complexity of that department.
Regenerative farming comes to dairy. Regenerative farming's goal is to simply improve the health and productivity of crops, including the cacao beans that Dr. Broner uses, and introduce dynamic agroforestry, which creates biodiversity and offers farmers more security by improving yields, diversifying what they grow, and avoiding the use of toxic chemicals. Now it looks like the dairy industry is moving to regenerative farming, and here's why. Fourth-generation Kansas dairy farmer Ken McCarty is all in on regenerative agriculture. He's planted cover crops, reduced tillage, and fosters biodiversity by creating wetlands and planting trees on the land where he grows the crops that feeds his animals. We're really young, and we've really staked our future livelihoods on these regions, he says, and their resources sustaining us for the next 20, 50, 100 years, he told Civil Eats. Taking care of the assets to sustain you simply makes economic sense, and there's a moral obligation. Regenerative agriculture is the right thing to do. McCarty isn't a small or medium-scale farmer. He is one of two conventional operations that make up the MVP Dairy Partnership, a company that owns, get this, a total of 26,000 cows, including 13,000 milking cows, and holds all its cows in barns. They grow grain, predominantly corn, on approximately 9,500 acres in 2 states. And dairy farms like his may be the future of regenerative agriculture. Danone, General Mills, and Häagen-Dazs, among other big dairy brands, and yogurt maker Stonyfield have all recently launched soil health programs specifically aimed at dairy producers. The voluntary programs, which offer training, tech support, and financial assistance, are seen as key to transforming dairy farms' major source of emissions into carbon sinks, which allow big food companies to reduce their carbon footprints and open up new avenues to market their products. Food companies have a tremendous amount of influence on their farmers. So if they're actively promoting these practices, that speaks volumes to the farmer. That, according to Alan Williams, a co-founder of regenerative ag consulting firm Understanding Ag and the Soil Health Academy coach, which was hired by General Mills. It signals to them that companies are getting serious about regenerative agriculture, and maybe the farmers should as well. Otherwise, they won't want to buy from them. It's an impetus that can drive this movement more rapidly. Big food companies from Cargill to PepsiCo have made public commitments to help finance farmers' adoption of regenerative practices. The world's largest retailer, Walmart, has also joined in. When we all work together and learn from one another, we can have a huge impact on the environment. You want to know more? Next Thursday, September 30th at 12 p.m. Eastern, 1 hour before Lempert Report Live, the Soil Health Institute will present its study, Economics of Soil Health on 100 Farms. Registration is free. Just go to soilhealthinstitute.org to sign up. And now it's time to hit the bullseye. You may remember Burger King's ill-fated ad campaign in 1985 that featured a man named Herb, hapless Herb, I called him, who had never eaten a Whopper. I'm sure it was based on the hugely successful 1984 ad campaign that featured Clara Peller, who asked in her inimitable way, where's the beef? As she and her friends would visit fast food restaurants other than Wendy's, who were shocked to see just how large the buns were, but how small their beef patties were. They compared how the Wendy's single burger had more beef than the Whopper. So in walked Herb to counter that campaign.
At this time, Burger King begins a nationwide search for one man. His name is Herb. We don't know much about Herb, only what his friends tell us.
Herb was unusual. Herb was different.
What his parents tell us.
Herb was never what you'd call
Normal.
His former teacher.
You had to know how to talk to him. Herbert, pay attention.
This is the best picture of Herb we have. We do know Herb is the one man who's never tasted a Burger King burger. Herb has never enjoyed this juice, this sizzling beef, or grown to love flame broiling instead of frying.
Grow up, Herb.
Herb has never enjoyed the Whopper, the taste millions and millions of people crave. So Herb, wherever you are, stay tuned and start asking yourself this crucial question. Aren't you hungry for Burger King, Herb?
As you know, the campaign didn't work, and a lot has changed in fast food marketing over the past 35 years. We've seen dollar meals, celebrity endorsements, one of my favorite being Snoop Dogg hawking the Beyond Meat sausage patty at Dunkin', and the like. I came across the latest innovation from Burger King, and frankly, I think they're missing a huge opportunity. And no, it's not to bring back Herb. Since 2015, Burger King has slowly and quietly been removing artificial ingredients from its menu. Today, the chain has banned 120 non-essential ingredients from its menu. Wow. Tell us about that. Forget Herb. And they're trying to, with their new Keep It Real meal, have been curated and branded by rapper Nelly, singer Anita, and TikTok influencer Little Huddy. Burger King, it's time to shout out your food news and maybe get rid of that very scary, big-headed plastic Burger King mascot costume. Next week, we're going to take a look at the grocery retailers and brands that have the most vaccinated customers here in the U.S. There's some surprises. Until then, have a great week, and we'll see you back here next Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And thanks for joining us.